Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Emily Webster. This is my shamanic medicine channel. I'm really called today to talk about what is healing. I did a video a few months ago called What is Healing, and I touched on a few things, and that's what I'm really going to focus on today as well. Because I can sense this huge amount of shame that people have when they come into the healing space, and it's like there's something wrong with me. I'm carrying this thing that I shouldn't be carrying. It's true that we shouldn't be carrying these things, but there's no shame in it at all. And somehow we make things personal to ourselves, and actually we look around us and the institutions, the systems that we've been kind of raised in, that is essentially what needs healing as much as ourselves, because we're wired for connection. You know, we're wired for collaboration, connection, to love one another, and that isn't the way. You know, the vocalization, the externalization of emotions, the expression, the truth, the kind of the stories of the soul, you know, in the recent history, in the recent past, they aren't the stories that have been told. So it's very often that if you're not kind of holding it all together, and you're not in a position where you are succeeding, productive, and everything's kind of neatly and tidy emotions, i.e. not expressing, that there's something wrong. And the first thing I want to say about healing is that with healing comes a much deeper compassion with those parts of yourself that need that care. And this can create sometimes a bit of a dissonance, for want of a better word, between you and the outside world, because actually you see and honour yourself in a different way, you know. So connecting with the heart, you know, connecting with the truth of your emotions, that's deeply healing, because your brain will tell one story about your life and your heart will tell another. And you know, it's been the kind of the narrative, if you like, that trauma is caused by an event in your life, and if there hasn't been a certain event, then trauma won't be there. And what we're realizing more and more recently is that the traumatic event has actually been living on earth, and shutting down emotions. So whereas our heart is intended to communicate in our decision-making process really regularly and really communicate how we feel about things, is as important as whether the thing that we've been asked to do is productive or right. You know, in terms of a kind of punitive morality, the heart will speak a different language and say, do you know what, that really hurts. I'm really struggling with that. I need to stop now. I need to cry. I'm really struggling to go back into that space. And so healing sessions on a shamanic basis, they're really led by the heart and led by the soul's journey. So the soul's journey is about past lives. It can be about energies that have been gained during this life that don't belong. And the processes that we follow in shamanic healing are about going back to ancient practices, connecting with our ancestors, connecting with spirit guides, connecting with power animals and allies in the plant kingdom. And the reason that we do that, and the reason that those connections are so powerful now, is that we're tapping into something that hasn't been broken, especially when we're tapping into power animals and plant spirit. They have this deep connection with the world on a soul level. So their souls are very psychically connected, and there is this belief that the wisdom of one species can be allied with another, so that to bring that power in. So sometimes we may shapeshift into the power animal, or we may ask to be able to see the world through the eyes of a plant spirit, for example. And what that's doing is it's kind of giving us this 360-degree vision about our lives. Because when we go into the healing journey, you know, we may say, oh, I'm feeling depressed, or this has happened to me, or this has happened to me. And the soul has a different story to what has happened and what the issue is. And that's the first thing I realised, you know, in my aromatherapy practice, was that I was having clients coming to me about certain issues, and I need you to make a blend for this or a blend for that. And then I was tuning in and I was getting messages from the plant spirits, and it was very different, the messages coming through. So all of these tools that we bring in the healing process and shamanic healing, they're all about trusting yourself. They're all about the inner voice being louder than the outside distractions. They're all about kind of like, what's right for me might not be right for other people, but I can be responsible for what is right for me. And if you're wanting to heal something which is connected with another person, we often do some deep cord cutting work. No connections based on love can be broken, but often there's interferences there that aren't loving, you know, like codependence or power imbalances, or somebody taking somebody's power away from them in a relationship. And all of these things happen in the human realm because we're human, you know, that's why we're here. So to be realigned by spirit, by kind of the voice of the soul, to say, actually, this is what your soul needs, is a completely different journey, a completely different message. So we're working with the physical body, the emotional body, and the soul body at the same time. And in ancient times, that's the way that medicine worked. You know, that's the way that medicine was all connected in that way. I'm just smiling because this what is healing's gone on an interesting tangent. But essentially, healing is coming back to knowing which way is up within yourself. So after perhaps suppressing the voice of the soul, suppressing the voice of the heart, which can show itself as depression, you know, it can show itself as like or not fully living your power, can show itself as anger, you know. And so we're not necessarily going with the symptoms, saying that's the issue. Oh, it's anger, which is the issue. Oh, it's depression. We're going underneath it and we're saying, well, how can we rebalance the soul and the energies within to then respond to that issue? And the more that you sort of travel into this path and you realise how kind of the things that you may have assumed were perfectly normal and right, you may begin to question some of them. So, for example, you may find that you need to rest more because that's what your body needs, or you may feel that there's other ways that you want to spend your time, other things that you want to put into your body, other types of foods. And this is about tuning into, you know, what you need. And you know, when we observe animals who are deeply connected with soul and spirit, and when we observe plants, their inner timing, the circadian rhythms, tuning in with the moon, can all be observed really, really clearly. You can clearly see that animals, when they're pregnant, they eat differently to the rest of the time. They're intuitively connecting with their needs. So it's that kind of rewilding of your soul to really, really connect with what do I need, not only on a survival basis, but also on a deep in a way that gives you permission to be happy. And I know that sounds crazy, but we can forget that. You know, the human journey is about joy and pleasure. The human journey is about adventure and, you know, excitement. That's what our sacrals are all about. We're kind of creating with pleasure, creating with joy, and it's often that the thing that you're deeply ashamed about that actually is going to bring you the most pleasure in the end, because, you know, this wounding that you may be journeying through has deep significance to your soul and your soul's journey, and probably your ancestral line as well, which is why we always bring that in. So, you know, when we work through the healing journey, we realise how, we look back on our lives and we realise how connected everything is, and often how connected we are, that we didn't even realise how switched on we are to our own healing, and how our soul always wants us to heal. You know, when we say to ourselves, oh, I keep having nightmares about that thing that happened, and, you know, yeah, your soul wants to revisit it until it heals. So it wants to come back to heal. Okay, so it's like really reading the messages of your soul really well and compassionately, and I believe, you know, we don't journey into the soul alone. We go with allies, we go with shamanic healers like me to support that progress and guide, and then the process is empowering. You know, you end up with that deeper connection with yourself, with that deeper connection with soul and spirit, that helps you to understand yourself in a completely different way, and empowers you to make decisions that, you know, are right for you and healing for you. I really hope that helps, and yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts about healing or anything that I've said today, and if you have any suggestions or questions you'd like to know, then it could be the basis of another video that I do as well on here. Lots of love, and yeah, have a lovely day.